You make your way to the entrance, holding your gown that was flowing down to your leg. It was a royal blue with shimmer that started from the end and subtly visible till the end of your sleeves. You were anything but pleased to come with your father. You always hated going to these gatherings even though you share the same world as them, yet you cannot sit there pretending that you're not sharing the room and food with your core enemies. You forced out a smile, seeing your father greet few of his known partner and took a side, giving him his space. Your movement halted watching a figure approach you. Your eyes followed his sharp face cut, the neck vein visible disappearing in his black buttoned up shirt. You felt yourself gulp at the way his shirt was tied around his chest, showing off the outline of his slim waist. If your father didn't inform you, then it's not a hookup party, love. He stated standing right in front of you, leaning a little. Jungkook, your core enemies inheritedly. Both of your families raised their kid to despise each other families. You thought it was wrong until you saw the actual person he was. Terrible and pathetic, but irresistibly handsome. You weren't even wearing something inappropriate. It was just a V-neck with off-shoulder sleeves showing just a little swell of your breast. But God, the way his word flared up your anger, you should have bring your poison with yourself. I would love to insult you, but trust me, I can't do as well as nature did it. I forced out a smile while his expression dropped, his tongue poking in his cheek, and my own fire fuel seeing his raised eyes. How is it that you're gonna carry your enormous ego upstairs? He seethed, and you could see his eyes burning with rage. You won this time. Watch me. You egoistically said, going upstairs, ignoring his angry mumbled words. You sipped your champagne with your eyes roaming around the gathering, even though you could never admit this, but your side eyes lingered on his tall, covered in black figure more than it should. He looked nice. He does look nice, but only if he wasn't arrogant. You frowned when you suddenly disappeared somewhere from your peripheral vision. You turned around involuntarily looking for him, but your steps halted seeing the person standing at your back. Long time no see. His voice came out low, poisonous. Your breathing is circulating with the way his eyes raced down your figure. What are you doing here? You whispered, composing yourself. I am invited here. Why? He asked with his grin so wide that he wanted to puke right there. Aren't you happy to see your fiance? He said playfully as if it's some sick joke. You're not my fiance, remember? You mocked with the deathly gazing boring in his soul. He put his hand on his chest as if he's hurt. Ouch, I am hurt. I miss your. A word more and I will slit your goddamn fucking throat. You covered his filthy word with your hand folded, dragged her to his throat, your sleeves hiding the act, making it look like as if her hand is looped around his neck. You knew you can't do this, not there at least. Killing at a mutual events were not allowed. Your eyes bloodshot, burning his skin while he smiled so slowly. You still play with knives? Makes me remind of something. He said mockingly, making your heart drop. Your own blood roared in your ears. How's your thigh though? Still fresh? Raw? He mocked again and you swore. You swore you cut his throat right there, but you were helpless. The boy is gonna broke out, and even though you help your father lead the gang, you wouldn't want him in trouble. You did what you always did, walking away. walking away from him but making sure to give him a deep cut down his hand, but going away before he could make a thing out of it. Your eyes searched the spare room where you could take a deep breath. Entered the nearest room you could see spare, your breathing coming in short and tears filling in your eyes as the anger intensified itself. How dare he mock you for something that kept you alive all this time? Your hand fisting on the vase on the table, hoping it breaks in your hand, hoping for it to cause some instant relief. You were so far gone in your head that you didn't even realize when the door opened and heavy presence, fuming with the same anger, entered in the room. The shit he was spitting isn't the truth. It was a statement, making you flinch and turn around to look at him standing there seething. He said, as it was obvious. He wasn't asking. Disbelief swam in his eyes as he saw you lost in thought. One moment he was seething at a distance, and the next he was lunging at you, holding you against the wall, pinning you. Your eyes widened in horror as his hand traveled to your gown. What do you think you are doing? You yelled at him as the anger took over your head, blooming as tears in your eyes. You jerked his hold away, getting away, almost making a run towards the door until he grabbed you from waist, pinning you on bed under him tighter this time. Jungkook, don't. You yelled, struggling in his hold, but ignored your word, lifting your gown till your mid thighs, making you shut your eyes tight. You didn't want to see anything. You didn't want to see your tough walls fall apart. Get out, he whispered, feeling the hold on your wrist loosen, turning your face away. A loner tear cascaded down to your hairline, but he didn't budge. He didn't left. All he did was to hold you again, but this time softer, crushing his lips to yours. He let out a low gasp as he suddenly crashed his lips against yours, the intensity and heat of your kiss taking him by surprise. But he quickly recuperated, his hand coming to grip your hips as he kissed you back just as fiercely, his own anger and lust fueling the kiss. Felt you groan against his lips, the sound driving him wild with desire. As your tongue come out to take his lower lips between your teeth, he let out a low curse, his finger digging into your hips even more. His hand stopped at your scarred thigh and your whole body went still. Taking this as a chance, he slipped his tongue inside your mouth, yet your mind stayed the way his hand was kissing the white dried lines. Emotions of bubbles rising in your throat as you try to recuperate the heated kiss, but instead the emotion spills out from your eyes. You couldn't figure out whether it was his gentleness or how tired you actually were. The salty tears on your cheek, the taste of them bringing a moment of clarity through the fiery kiss. He broke away from your lips for a moment, looking at you with a mixture of anger and concern. Your eyes met with his, both of your heavy breaths filling the room. There you melted in his arms, so warm, and eyes full of anger and concern. You just pulled him closer softly, and without a word, he hugged you, resting his face in the crook of your neck. While you hid your tears in his shoulder, you knew that he would confront you for hurting yourself like that. You knew he would scold you, getting angry, but not. For now, all you wanted was to stay in his embrace a little longer, and he seemed happy to provide it. And even if for a moment a thought crossed your mind, if letting him see the ugly side of you turned this relationship into something beautiful, maybe it's worth it then.